episode 3 of Closest to the Win. Thanks everybody for tuning in. This is part of the Hammercast Network. So anyway, let's have some fun tonight. First and foremost, we got Guru with us. Nick, how you doing, Nick?
I'm doing great, man. It's 2-tourney week. We got 2 shots of something over here. I'm ready to roll, man. Let's get it going.
Yeah, you got 2 shots of something, or you 2 shots at something?
Both.
I love it. Hey, Drew, Pro, how's it going, Pro?
Everything's great. Good to see you guys. Excited to get back to talking some golf. It seems like it's been forever. It's been a couple days, but here we are.
Yep. I'm so jammed up for this show. This show is going to be amazing. We got not one, but both tournaments. That's why Guru is so tired. He's been grinding for 2 tournaments. And hey, before we even get started, by the way, Justin, our degenerate, he is having a few technical glitches, but he said he should be on shortly. We'll bring him in. But anyway, we're going to grind on 2 tournaments. Before we do that, I just want to talk about some real quick solemn news. Everybody, I think, has probably heard about the Tiger Woods accident today. All of our prayers go out to him. You guys both, how are you guys feeling on that? I mean, obviously, it's
a tough thing, you know.
What's that?
It's a tough thing, you know. You think your heroes and icons are, you know, just nothing bad's going to happen to them, and then you get news like this, and you know, hoping he was going to maybe come back for the Masters, but you know that's probably in doubt. And I guess you know maybe you know the 2 compound fractures and then the broken ankle. I mean it's going to put him out for a while, and then there's no telling what the back's going to do. So we'll just keep our fingers crossed that. But most importantly, he's okay, and then you know, golf comes secondary.
Well, we're all of our prayers and thoughts are go out to Tiger and his family, and we wish him a speedy recovery and hope everything comes out great. In the meantime, interesting pair of tournaments this week. First one is WGC Work Day. The course is actually called the Concession Golf Club, and it's right outside of Bradenton, Florida. Jack Nicklaus designed, and it's a private club, so not a lot of people can just get on there and test the club out. They're saying it's going to play right under 7,500 yards and par 72. Looks like they've added another couple of golfers. So what are we at, 74 now?
73, I think, last count.
73? Yeah. Okay. And then, and of course, one of the most interesting things, if you don't know this, there will not be a cut. And so that's something to take into consideration when you're making your DFS plays, as well as when you're thinking about who you're going to bet on and why. There is no cut for this event, so it should be a lot of fun. It's jam packed with talent. You know, this is the one event that I'm surprised that Jordan Spieth isn't in.
I think he's played the last 3 weeks. I think he might, but you're right. It's a WGC. You would expect him there, especially just keep it going. But you're right. I was looking to waste my money on Jordan Spieth again this week, and I continue to go down the list, and I could not find him. So here we are.
But I will tell you one interesting thing about this course. Bryson won a major collegiate tournament on this course, this exact course, and he said it fit him very, very well. Maybe I was a week early on him, huh?
That's what I said last week, man. I mean, I guess we'll find out. But if you want to go double or nothing, you know, I'm your guy, and I'm sure Justin will take part too.
Well, I will tell you that spoiler alert: Bryson is not in my top plays and fades section this week, but we'll talk about him. I'm sure one of you knuckleheads are going to have him. So anyway, but you guys, what are your thoughts on the course? What are your thoughts on how you set the model up for this week, Guru?
Justin, welcome to the party, my friend.
And here he is. The degenerate is here.
Technical difficulties.
We will not go quietly into the night.
All right, but I'm ready. Go ahead, Guru.
So, I mean, it's definitely a big boy course. I mean, those par 5s are pretty long. I think it's the 13th. I think you have to carry it over water. And then I think that's the crazy hole with all the bunkers around the green too. So it's just like, you know, good luck. as a whole, I think the closer you get to the hole, I think, and across the whole course, I think that's when the difficulty comes in. I mean, link's going to play a part, but from second shot on, I mean, you have to know what you're doing and you have to put it in the right spot. I think Bryson and folks maybe like that have played the course a little bit might have an advantage, maybe round one, but once everybody gets their feet wet, so to speak, then I think it's every man for himself. And then, getting the guaranteed rounds in, I mean, I think it really should be a fun weekend.
Yeah, I think so too. And I love Florida golf, and now we're back to Bermuda greens, and I did a little research on Bermuda greens, and it's gonna be fun. We'll talk about that a little bit, but anyway, well, hey guys, with no further ado, Justin, welcome back, and I'm glad you got that technical problem taken care of. Tell Jesse that this is a golf show. And all the Jaguar stuff in the background, come on.
We were talking about that. We'll have that. We'll have that lined up here for the next show.
You don't have to do that. I'm just messing with you, man. I'm just messing with you. All right, guys, we got to talk about 2 tournaments, so let's get busy. We're going to go straight to our top plays and fades. We got 4 of us. We're going to do 10K plus first, and we're going to start with Nick. Nick, give me 2 plays in the 10K range for DraftKings, and then 1 fade, and talk a little bit about them.
So I'm going to go back to the Romwell one more time. You can't really stop that run of just really decent form he's got. His last 10 tournaments, he's 5th, 13th, 3/7, the 2nd, 17th, 23rd, 6th, and 1st. That averages out to 8th. I mean, that's pretty good for 10 straight tourneys. You look at his last 24. I mean, he's 6th off the tee, 4th in approach, 18th around the green, and 49th putting. But then you dive in further. Last 24, he's 1st in greens and reg, 5th in total driving over the whole season, 9th in par 3 scoring, 11th in par 5. And then model-specific stuff. He's 4th in terms of no cut, 4th in terms of the comp courses, 6th in terms of something I added back this week, sort of a Jack Nicklaus course specialist, section, if you will. And then I broke down the Bermuda specifically to the Tiff Eagle. So I referenced that on Sunday in a recap show from the Genesis. This particular green complex is featured in a lot of the tourneys in Florida and the Southeast. So, not just Bermuda. So I kind of backed out all that and focused my putting mojo, so to speak, mainly in this area. And he turned out to be 5th there. And I mean, again, you're splitting hairs at the top, but I had to lean there more him versus DJ. Then the other one I may surprise you slightly, but I'm going to go with Cantlay. He's on a pretty good run. Last 24, 9th off the tee, 19th in approach, 15th in putting, and 2nd around the green, which is pretty good. His run of form, 15th, 3rd, 2nd, 13, 17, 1, 38, so on and so forth in the last 10. Again, maybe just a hair not quite as great as Rom, but still right up there. And then he's got some interesting stats on the model too. He's 10th in the no cut, 3rd in the Nicklaus department, 7th with the comp courses, 14th in Tiff Eagle. And it kind of worked last week, when we took Xander and Finau was sort of the second tier of the bunch. And I'm not saying that Cantley's going to pull a Finau here, but compared, he's definitely second tier. I'm going to give it a run. He's an East Coast guy and he's done pretty well with the Nicklaus courses. And so, yeah. Then as far as the fade goes, that was really tough for me.
It's always tough to fade a 10K guy.
It is.
Yeah, but then
really
you put the Tiger thing in there, and the biggest separator in the model, and we'll take a peek in a little while, but JT's form. The one thing with this particular tourney, works out historically that you really want to have really good short-term form. And if you focus primarily on the short-term form, it's easy just to fade JT because his last couple tourneys have just, sucked. And whatever he's got going on with his grandpa, now he's worried about Tiger, and you kind of throw that in there. And, that's probably the smart money. But, being a stats guy and looking on paper, I'm going to fade Rory. I know there's a lot of people on Rory, but yeah, he's the low man for me, and mainly it's going to be stats based. And it's 1st off the tee. That's a dangerous fade. Last 24, but I'm going to do it anyway. But 52nd in approach, 35th around the green, and 47th in putting. But since I'm the 2 things that really swung it for me, in terms compared to the field, he's outside of the top 20% in terms of DraftKings scoring. So he's not really scoring as much as the other guys. And then going back to that Tiff Eagle thing, he's 36th. and that's substantially lower than everybody else. So when you kind of looking for some sort of negative edge there, and that was enough for me.
Yeah, that's really good stuff right there. I did get our buddy Al Falcon Day. He said that Spieth wasn't qualified for this tournament, and said how crazy is that? And I found that interesting. And
yeah, he was like eighth
actually
alternate
that
or
makes
something.
sense. That makes sense now that we think of it, which is sad
because it is a WGC, right? And so I get that, but anyway, yeah, I'm down with that. He's probably not going to like the Rory fade, but you can't deny how he's playing right now.
No,
And until I see something, spoiler alert, he's my fade too. Anyway, so Rahm and Cantley, is that something you're thinking about straight forecast betting?
Maybe I have, I may dip down into the upper nines to get my, straight forecast in, but I wouldn't turn it down. I have to see what the odds are. I imagine they're probably pretty good.
Yep. All right, Justin.
all right. So my picks were very similar to the Guru. I had Cantlay and JT were my two plays. Kind of piggybacking on what the Guru said. I think JT's form has been a little off, but I could see him coming back, kind of playing, for all the things going on and playing well. And obviously my fave was Rory. I don't think in the 10K range with so few to choose from, I think he kind of, he sticks out in the group.
And he's still at 10-4.
Yeah.
He's going to nut us all.
Yeah.
He's going to win one of these things.
Yeah. Well,
and all fucking day, yes. JT has not been right since his grandpa died, but sometimes people pull inspiration out of things. Last week it kind of happened, and he's had some time to reflect. Maybe he's going to win one for grandpa and for Tiger, and who knows how it all goes. But I definitely I'm pulling for him. I will say this: you're not going to get better odds on JT than you can right now. Right now, it was at 18-1 on DraftKings, and so we'll talk about that in a little bit. What about you, Pro? Two plays.
Yeah, it's funny these guys mentioned it. I'm 100% with Guru Rombo all day. I'm rolling with Rombo again. The second one is a little interesting, and like Justin said, I originally thought about fading Justin Thomas. But anybody around the community knows Justin Thomas and Tiger are very good friends. And he went from a fade to in my lineup. So I'm going to play JT. The fade, it's got to be Rory again. Unfortunately, it just has to be. We saw it. It's not all the way there with the driver. When you get in trouble, Rory's weapon is the driver. We know his wedge game from 75 to 125 isn't the greatest, and his putting's average. So when his driver's off, and it seems to be right now, I just gotta fade him. But I'm going to play JT. The only reason Patrick Cantlay wasn't the guy is because I worry we're going from California to Florida here. We're changing grasses. Cantlay is a West Coast guy. He usually does play well on the West Coast swing. So now we're on to Bermuda, which is a grass that's annoying as hell, kind of like it is out west, but a different grass nonetheless. So I couldn't take Cantlay, but his form really made it difficult to not do so.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So so we got two Roms, two Cantlays, two JTs, and all three of you guys have faded Rory. Hey, I will mention this. Well, I'll just mention it when I go into mine. Right now, my two plays are Xander Schauffele, and I put a little model together myself. Guru, you'll be proud of me.
Very nice.
Just to put some thought behind it and see how it validates with, of course, our model that you build. And what I really liked about Schauffele in this field was now the what I modeled was I'm off the tee, approach, greens in regulation, putting, birdie or better, and greens in regulation. And I think that's it. And Schauffele was a clear cut number one for me. I mean, he's He's 14th off the tee. He's 10th on the approach. He's second in putting. He's second in birdie or better. He's fourth in greens and regulation, and he's 14th in driving distance. Just all solid numbers right there, and that's past 36 rounds. And so I really like what I saw from him, and I think he's due. And I paired him up with chalk. I went ahead. I'm the only one that paired him up with the chalk. I went with DJ. I think DJ was a little embarrassed last week, and he quit on holes between at about after 14. He pretty much quit, and they didn't even show him anymore. And I think he wants to go out here in this kind of event, and he's going to step his game up. And I mean, god dang, man, he's top 10 in off the tee. He's number 1 in approach. He's number 1 in greens and regulation. He's number 4 in distance. He's 21st in putting, but on Bermuda, let me see here. Where's DJ? He's 18th, and so I've got the chalk and I've got Shoffley. I am going to straight forecast those two guys, and so he's DJ in a WGC bold choice. Yep. Hey, I go bold, man. I go bold. I'm not afraid to take the hits. And so that's who I got. And then my fade is Rory. Obviously, we don't have to beat Rory to death, but I will give Rory a little bit of prop on this one. Rory is he's actually much better on Bermuda than he has on POA. And, he's actually ranked 8th in the field in putting on Bermuda. So if he does get hot and he gets it on there, he can roll them in. And
Guy lives in Florida. He could easily come out and win and make us all, because that's the kind of player he is. But now I'm kind of worried now that like everybody's on the fade Rory bus. That damn Rory might show up and it just make us
usually
all
how it
tough.
works.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're going to say, man, the network is going to cancel our show after 3 episodes. I might have to pull some strings with the brass.
Yeah, exactly.
We can start a cooking show. It's all good.
Hey, I'm making a video tomorrow on how to make a barbecue sauce with 5 ingredients you probably have in your cabinet right now. And so that may be our new thing. You guys start working on your barbecue recipes. Okay, 9K. This is good stuff right here. We're going to go back to you, Guru. Let's go.
I hate really doing this, but I don't really – when I talked last week about hating the 8K range, I really like the 9K range, but I really don't think it makes sense to play the 9. I think, you find your guys at the top, and then, you end up probably living in the 8s and the 7s, as far as the WGC goes. But for the sake of the game, I have to pick 2. So I don't normally take the guy that actually did really well last week. That almost seems like an automatic fade, but I'm going to buck the trend. I'm going to go back to Finau. His form's pretty good. I mean, his last 4 starts, he's got 3 seconds and a 4th. He's 13th off the tee last 24, 7th in approach, 14th around the green, and 24th in putting. Again, he's still like a poor man Xander, and he's not really poor man Xander because he's got slightly better form right now. He's last 24, he's 3rd in eagles in the field, 9th in birdies, 23rd greens and reg last 24. And then as far as the model goes, he was 29th off the TIFF Eagle as far as putting. So, I mean, he's, upper end of the field, 16th in comps, and he's another guy that actually does pretty well in the Nicklaus. So, I mean, he was 7th. So I'm going to let that roll. And then I'm not really a Bryson guy. I'm really not. But this is probably one of those weeks and I'm going to kick myself in the ass for this. But yeah, I'm going to take him. I don't really want to. I'm not gonna lie, I really don't want to. But that 3rd off the tee is just it's hard to ignore in the last 24. But 47th in approach, 25th around the green, and 52nd in putting. But what actually works really well, he's first in par 3 scoring. He's 10th in par 5, and he's 10th in birdie or better, which is pretty awesome. 5th against the comps, 7th in the blended stats, and he's actually 18th in the TIFF Eagle. So he's actually a better putter than probably people give him credit for. And
well, that's the spew I was spitting out last week.
Just a week early.
Yeah, I was a week early, and so, but I really love the fact that you put him in there, and so Finau and Bryson.
Yeah, and I'm going to go the other extreme. So my fade of the week, and I really wanted to go Brooks, but actually I'm going to go Morikawa, and He lost 7.5 strokes last week on the greens, which is pretty absurd. But if you actually dig a little deeper into that, if you look at his worst putting performances, they've all pretty much been on these Nicklaus courses or like these really hard, undulating, complex green packages. And then with the change in form, he's still going to putt like crap for another couple weeks. I just don't see it changing. Maybe he only loses 2 or 3. Maybe he levels off and gets, doesn't lose anything. But even so, he's going to be 30th or 40th in the field. But, looking at his last 24, he's 40th off the tee. He's first in approach, dangerous fade, 15th around the green, but that's 69th in putting. I mean, that'll do you in every time. And I think this course putting is going to play a part. So yeah, he's a big fade for me.
Yeah, I think he's going to be pretty highly owned as well because of that number one in approach, and so it's going to be really fun to see how his ownership shakes out. And I know we're going to have that in our report tomorrow as well when we release the article with the spreadsheet, the cheat sheet. But anyway, bold move there, buddy. All right, so let's go to Justin. 2 9K players. Who do you like?
All right. Well, my first guy is going to be Terrell Hatton. 4 top 10s in his last 8 tournaments. Obviously, 1 in Abu Dhabi. I love everything about his game. I think you're getting him at 9.6. 22-1 odds. Kind of what the Guru said earlier. My favorite plays are not in the 10K range. I like the 8-9s. I think a lot of these guys are really solid and have just as much value as the guys up at the top for a better price.
I agree with that.
So Hatton will be my first play. My second play is going to be Webb Simpson. I just think, I think same odds. Is that right? The exact same, 22-1. He's at 9,100. I'm all in on Webb as well. I already bet him outright. I bet him top 5, and just those 2 guys for me were an easy call in the 9s. And then my fade is going to be Brooks. I just think, and I like the pick on Morikawa. I thought about that, but I just think what we saw from Brooks at Waste Management was a little bit of fool's gold. I don't know if we're going to see a Sunday like that again from him. So I'll take my chances elsewhere from Brooks this week.
All right, man. All right, Pro. Let's hear your 2 plays for 9K.
I don't know how the hell everybody doesn't rock Tony Finau. Stop with the BS. Tony Finau is ready to win. I mean, last 3 starts tied for second or solo second each start. Tony Finau is a must play for me. The other guy that no one's mentioned is Patrick Reed, absolute bulldog, plays well in WGCs.
Sure does.
Listen, the guy might be a dick, right? But hey, here we are.
Hey,
it's
we're
hard.
We're not betting on anatomy, man.
Exactly. Listen, Patrick Reed has he has the game. He won, I think, this tournament last year at a different location, of course, because of everything going on. However, Patrick Reed's always good in the WGCs. I'm actually going to fade Brooks Koepka myself. Brooks Koepka is still, although he's actually posted well, he played decently last week at Riv. He still has the right miss with the driver. He's going to be my fade. It's tough because I also consider Collin Morikawa as well, to your guys' point. Collin Morikawa's form hasn't been great. However, to all Falcon Day's point, Morikawa is probably the best iron player in golf. So, although the green undulations are, this is a Nicklaus design, which we haven't really seen. There's very few people that have seen this. Of course, Bryson's had past success. However, Bryson hits the ball 700 yards further now, right? Yep. So than he did in 2018 or whatever it was, 2015. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and fade. I'm going to fade Brooks Koepka. But man, I just love me some Tony Finau.
Well, that's a great segue. I'm going to go ahead and go my 9K. My 2 plays are going to be none other than Tony Finau. So that gives us 3 of them. And yes, the graphic is correct. 30 plus top 10s without a win. How is that even possible? And so, it's just amazing. I believe his form is rock solid, and I don't think he's going to be affected at all by what happened in that playoff. And he's just ready to rock and roll, man. He's letting it all go. And so Tony Finau in the night, honestly, I think he should be in the low 10K range based on how he's playing. And the fact that he's in the 9K range, give me some of that all day, 9.8. My other 9K play, now here's the thing. I had Hovland. All right. I had Hovland. I did a little due diligence this morning, and this is going to come back and haunt me, right, guys? You know how I am. I always haunt myself. I pivoted. I made a pivot this afternoon from Hovland, who I really like, to Brooks. I'm going with Brooks. And I'm going with Brooks Koepka. I like him. He's in Florida. It's his home state. He's played this course. He knows this course. And in this field, Brooks is the number one putter on Bermuda grass. And so you tie all that together with his form recently. I like Brooks. He's my guy. It's going to be a lot of fun to be texting back and forth with you guys. I hope he shows out for me. And my fade is none other than Colin Morikawa as well. The putting. Now, I looked it up. His Bermuda putting is better than everything else. He's top 20. He's 20th in Bermuda. But it's still not enough for his price point, even though he's maybe the best iron player in the world. He's got to be able to get that. He's got to be able to get that 8-foot putt in, and he can't do it. And so as long as he's that far back on his putting stats, I'm not going to play him. I'm fading him. He's a great player. He may have a great tournament, but at that price point, I got other options. And so that's why I went to Morikawa with Guru.
All right.
Thoughts on Brooks? You guys think I'm making a crazy move here?
No, I mean, it's hard to say that fading Brooks or playing Brooks is crazier than fading Brooks. You know what I mean? It's tough.
And Hovland's going to end up winning this damn thing.
With the WGC, I mean, it's a loaded field. So even in the $9,000 range, you're fading guys that you think might have a good week. It's just
right.
Which side of an arm? Yeah. So, but no, Victor Hovland's rock solid. At least he's going to be top 15, top 20. You think just because that's what he does.
Right. And so anyway, guys, we've got a good variety here. Let's go to 8K. Go ahead, Nick, Guru. Let's go 8K, man. This is my favorite slot right here.
Oh, cool. Then I'll just put you out of your misery now. So I'm going to take some Hideki.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
100%. 150%.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. Crack it open, man. Go ahead. Do what you got to do.
I did.
So,
I did.
I know I like you, man. So last 24, it's not as bad as it looks, when you kind of get up close. So he's 25th off the tee. He's 29th in approach, and he's 31st around the green. That's actually pretty solid. It gets a little dicey with the putter, but it always gets dicey with the putter with him. But he's 12th as far as the Nicklaus, stats go that I pulled. He's 9th in no cut, and 11th as far as the comps go. So, I mean, he's had some pretty decent success here. I don't really need him to putt. I just need him to, come out and not bogey and then just get it where it needs to be and then just make the 5-footers. I mean, I don't really care about the 15-footers. So he could shoot, 68s all day long. And, he may not be first round leader, but, he might creep up there on, by Sunday. So, yeah, I'm going to take Hideki. I'm not saying I'm going to take a lot of him, but he's the one guy I like.
Right.
So then on the other extreme, just to balance off my, negative putting, I'm going to go back to the Fitzpatrick well. I didn't play him as much in DFS last week, but I did have the outright on him. But he played pretty well. But the interesting thing about him, he's about 0.6 of a stroke better on Bermuda. So for as good as the putter was at stages last week, it should be even better this week. He's 33rd off the tee, 17th in approach, 41st around the green, and 37th in putting. And then he's 19th as far as the comp things I pulled, 21st in no cut. But then going back to the TIF Eagle on the Bermuda, he's 8th in the field. And so I think it should be a pretty good week for him. Then the third wheel, they got a little interesting for me. I'm going to go Adam Scott. it's one of those, elite field type things. So then, I think class is going to carry, and class is going to carry with a lot of the picks I have. So he's 30th off the tee, the last 24, 36th in approach, 47th and around the green. And surprisingly, he's actually 31st in putting, which isn't really too bad. Now, the interesting note for me in terms of the Nicklaus courses and the way I ran it, he was number one in the field for me. And that actually carries some weight because the last couple of Nicklaus tourneys, the Nicklaus specialists have actually done pretty well. And generally as a whole, they usually do pretty well because they tend to like what, Jack does with the courses, and they're okay with the short game and the putter and things like that. So he was 24th in the TIFF Eagle, 19th in no cut, 10th in comps, and, was 23rd as far as the blended 2021 stats. So yeah, there was my 3-pack in the 8K range. Then as far as the fade, Max Homa, his form lately is pretty good, and even his stats are actually pretty good. I mean, it was tough to find a fade, but I'm going to play the Tiger card a little bit. I'm going to say maybe he's worried about that. Flying back east off of a big week, really liking that course he's at, his home course, so to speak. He grew up playing and everything. It's just, there's got to be some kind of regression this week for sure. And he didn't even really model out that great for me last week. It's just that I think he's got some West Coast mojo. So for all the West Coast mojo he had working through, the couple tourneys out there, I think he's going to lose most of it coming back east for now. I mean, it's hard to just go back to back. I mean, back to back winners and back to back really good showings and tourneys are just really, really tough, especially for guys that maybe aren't quite on that elite level yet. And, maybe Home will get there, but he's not there yet. So, yeah, he's a fade for me.
It's always somewhat easy to fade a winner just because, the cocktails are brewing.
Yeah. He was an automatic fade for me just for that reason alone. And but I got a separate fade because I didn't want to just kind of go with him. But yeah, I'm with you there. But man, the guy's been playing lights out, man. Maybe I don't know. It'll be fun to watch. He's fun to watch. I'll tell you that. I love watching the guy play.
Definitely.
All right, Justin, 8K. Give me 3.
Yep. All right, 8K. I'll give you 3. Fleetwood. Haven't played Fleetwood. I can't tell you the last time. And I don't know, something about him this week. I feel like the best fields is when he shows up. And I'll be rolling with him.
Last time he played over here, it was the Masters, and he finished top 20. So
yeah. Oh, in the bigger tournaments, it seems like he always plays his best golf.
Right. That wasn't his last time he played, but that was the last time he was significant in a field like this.
Yeah. He's played a bunch over there, but I think he's played once on the tour since then, I believe.
Okay.
He's got some good Florida history too, so I don't think it's a bad pick either.
Yeah. Yep. All right, and then coming off the longest break in his career, Sanjay Im.
Im?
Yeah, he takes 2 weeks off. It feels like a year off.
1 week, yeah. The dude doesn't even have a home. He lives in like hotels. I mean, hey, but credit to him. Cash those checks while you can, right?
Absolutely.
Like just stack the money, and because your game could leave you at any point.
Yeah, he's doing good. Yeah, he's a great player. He does well in Florida too. And so, all right, who's your number 3?
I'm gonna go back to Zalatoris. I think he's right at 8K. He's at the bottom of the range. I just think in this field, guaranteed to make the cut, guaranteed to play 4 rounds. He's gonna make some birdies. I'll take my risk with him.
You'll probably never get him that cheap again.
That's what I'm thinking.
Right. And your fade?
My fade was Homa. I guess we've kind of already been over it, but I think if you watched his interview after he won, I mean, emotional high, in his hometown, and then with all the other Tiger stuff, I could see him being slightly checked out. Maybe he'll still be good. He's in his form's great. But I don't know if I'll see him contending this week.
I got you. I got you big time. All right, Pro. Let's hear it. Give me 3 8K plays.
Yeah, starting out with Joaquin Neiman, 8,100, T43 last week. He can make birdies. We talked about it over a span of 4 days. No cut. I love Joaquin Neiman, which leads me into Scottie Sheffler, my second pick. At 8,300, had a T20 last week at Riv. The dude can fill it up no doubt about it. I mean, there's not probably another guy on tour that can go out and make birdies like Scottie Sheffler can. And as Guru said, I'm going with Matt Fitzpatrick for him. I mean, he's been playing well. Sunday was a little different. I mean, but again, it's Riviera on Sunday. Matt Fitzpatrick's been playing great, and Hideki's my fade. And Max Homa would have been. Here's the reason Hideki's my fade is, yes, we talk about the flat stick with Hideki. He's not good. And the problem that I see with this week is these green complexes are completely different. I mean, he's going to be putting up and down slopes. It's speed. Mm-hmm. His putting has been awful. And that's really what's plagued him his entire career. As you guys have noted, his strokes gained tee to green, his strokes gained approach. I mean, everything is there for him. But when you go and get on green complexes like this, where you get into the wrong spot, I just worry. And I've been heavy on fading Hideki lately, and it's kind of worked. So why the hell not?
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
Well, so I'm going to put Hideki. All right, let's get to my 8Ks. You've heard a lot of these. You've heard some of these names already. We're going to start my 8K with Neiman. And I've liked Neiman. Now, I went ahead and did my model, and Neiman actually came up fourth in my model based on the metrics that I put in. Obviously, it's just a very small piece of what we do for our model overall. But in my model, the way I look at it is gosh, he was, he's fourth off the tee, 18th on the approach, 16th on putting, 6th birdie or better, and 11th greens in regulation, and 3 in driving distance. And when you put all that together, he's way up there for me at 8-1 at the bottom of the 8K range, no less. He's a slam dunk play, both on betting and in my DraftKings lineups. I'm going to like him a lot. And my second guy is the lowest of the 8K range. He's only 8K. That's also Will Zalatoris. I'm going back. I took a week off.
You can't stop. He always has to go back to the well.
I can't quit you, Z. I can't.
Which sucks for Justin, because this means that this is the week he's not going to play well. Because
that's a death right there.
Oh, it's worked.
Well, Zalatoris he's 7th in my model, 21 off the tee, 3rd in approach, 7th in greens in regulation. He's 18th in birdies or better. I mean, he's just solid numbers all the way across the board, and I'm stoked to get him at 8K. And to your point earlier, you're not going to get him at that price again, so he's going to be in a lot of my lineups. And my final 8K play is none other than Sebastian Im as well. I like him a lot. I think we already talked about him. Im is definitely a guy that I think can go out and win this thing, and he does well in Bermuda on Bermuda. So I'm liking that guy a lot. Fade, you got it. Hideki, the easiest fade of the day. And so Nick is going to have the last laugh if Hideki comes out there and finishes top 20, or top 10. But I just don't. Yeah, Sanjay. I don't know why I said Sebastian. I apologize for that. Yeah, Sanjay M. And so, but yeah, I'm fading Hideki all the way. I just can't look at those numbers. I can't look at his form and say, hey, yeah, I think he's going to pull this thing off.
I agree.
Yep, can't unsee it.
I can't block that out, man. And
I guess
so,
we'll see come Sunday.
Hey, but you know what? This is what it's all about, guys. We're given a lot of options and a lot of valid feedback on why we like these guys and why we don't. And you know what? Let's see how it rolls out. But in the meantime, let's go to 7K. This is another one where we want to go 3 plays and 1 fade. Guru, 7K me. Let's go.
So the biggest trouble I had in the 7K was Harris English. Like, I think he was severely underpriced. I think 7,500 for him is kind of a joke. So I will take that all day long, because if you go with the 10 times value rule of thumb, I think he should hit 75 points pretty easy. So I mean, I think it makes sense to include him. Now, how heavy you use him is up to you, but 17th off the tee, 48th in approach, 52nd around the green, and 13th in putting. Last 24, he was 6th in greens and reg. And based on the TIFF Eagle stats and the way I kind of pulled it, he was the number 1 putter in the field. So I think it's a tough field. It's a classy field, but I think they kind of overreacted to maybe his last couple of tourneys. But he's back in the Southeast. He generally does pretty well, and he gets the greens he likes. Yeah, I will take that all day long. Going back to the whole class angle, and again, if I took Decky, I might as well take this too. I'm going to go Justin Rose.
Oh boy!
There you go. Thank you. I was waiting for the dramatic effect there. So, there's nothing really fantastic on paper that says you have to take him, but his last tourney, he finished, Euro overseas, the TJ1, he finished second, tied with Finau, but he was ahead of Hovland, he was ahead of Hatton, he was ahead of Sergio. So, I mean, maybe he's kind of, turning a corner a little bit there. But last 24, he's 17th in birdies, 10th in the Nicholas, 8th in no cut, and then he's 13th in the comp. So, I mean, he checks out kind of upper end. And then the last 24, I mean, the stats aren't really fantastic, but he's 48th off the tee, 27th in approach, 65th around the green, and 38th in putting. So based on his price point, I mean, it'd be nice if he hopped in the top 10, but if he pops somewhere between 15 and 20, I'm okay with that. So I think he can. It makes some sense. Then Brian Palmer, I think he'll be chalky as hell, but he makes a lot of sense. Last 24, he's 14th off the tee, 10th in approach, 14th in putting, and 52nd around the green. I know there's a little noise about how he doesn't really like the whole, Florida swing. Maybe he doesn't do as well, but he's got some okay results over here. But 11th.
But he's playing better this year than he's played in a while, and so he seems like a different player right now.
I think he's going to like the course. I mean, he's 25th in the TIFF Eagle, so based on his price, 16th in Nicholas, 14th in no cut, 15th in comps. I mean, he checks out. I know we had him right around the top 10, and I think he could easily surpass that. But even if he's 15th or something, he's still more than going to pay off his money there. And as far as the price points, I don't know. I think there's a couple people in the field that are overpriced. I think there's a couple people in the field that are underpriced, and English is one for sure. I think he's really highly ranked. Up there, he should get the respect of the ranking, but he's just not there. I just think he hasn't done it long enough. And then Palmer dropped for the same reason, but he's done okay in a couple of these, WGC events. Some of the comps make sense. He was in a lot of the optimal lineups last year. I mean, I think as far as prices, I think they're both a steal. I mean, whether or not you agree with where we put them in the model, that's a different conversation. But based on what I think the juice they have and the ceilings they have and the floors they're going to give you, I almost think they're must plays.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. And as a matter of fact, I got Palmer as soon as the line came out at 55-1, and I posted it on Twitter on Monday. And so I hope everybody else jumped in on that one because that's just too juicy at that price point, And so, as a matter of fact, if I pull it up right now, Palmer, let me see if the line has moved on him at all.
Probably 45 or 50, I would think.
Why am I not seeing him? Is it because I already have him?
Maybe.
What are you looking
no,
at?
there he is. He's still
55.
He's still 55 right now. So yeah. So what about your fade here for 7K?
7K is kind of a tough. I didn't really want to take the low-hanging fruit, so to speak. So trying to find negatives on people. It's not really a sexy fade because it's not really a name fade, but I'm going to fade Jason Kokrak. I liked him last week, but I'm going to flip this week. The things I don't like, 60th as far as the Nicholas stats. So I'm not really sure how much of a course fit it is. 36th as far as the comps go. I usually, as far as the model goes, I usually build kind of a modified tee to green based on how I think the course is going to play. And he ranked out 64th with the modified tee to green over the last 24, which isn't really fantastic. And then other than his, Shadow Creek, affair, he's really not had fantastic no-cut success, if you will. So between that, last 24 as a whole, I mean, he's 6th in putting. That's really a tough fade with the 6th, but 31st off the tee, 44th in approach, and 63rd around the green. So add it together, yeah, I think I can find better value in the 7K range, especially when you have other people there too that I like substantially better, like Rose and Answer and things like that.
Wow. Okay. We're going to have some fun with this one too. All right, let's go to Justin. Justin, 7Ks. Let's give me three plays in a fade.
All right. Well, yeah, we've got a lot of similar picks, so I'll go through the ones Nick's already hit on really quick. I think English is a no-brainer. with a win and a 5th and a 6th in his last 6 tournaments. I mean, the last couple haven't been great. I just think his form, like I said, for 7,500, and then what his odds are, really 60 to 1 English. I mean, that one's a no-brainer for me. And then I like Palmer already, and then seeing how he modeled, I just that's another one that'll
put him right in.
Those 2 guys for me. And then my third one is Sergio, who I didn't realize that, and he doesn't have a big sample size, but shots gained off the tee, he's third, on 2021, and I just think he might be rounding back into form, and I'll go ahead and get on that bandwagon this week and see where he takes us. Like you said, no cut, which I think that keeps a lot of guys wide open. My fave is probably going to be the most obvious one is Matthew Wolff. His game, and the stats are all out there, but I just feel like his game's just been off lately, and we'll see. I don't have much faith in him right now. He's obviously ultra talented, love him, but he's working on some stuff right now, so that'll be my fade this week.
Cool. And pro, what do we got?
I mean, kind of these guys. It's funny we're bringing on the same guys. I have Harris English. I have Ryan Palmer. Value picks, in my opinion. The guy that hasn't been mentioned is Jason Kokrak to me. We're talking about a 7,500-yard golf course. Jason Kokrak, T32 last week at Riv, has been playing very well. He's a guy that I like. I really do. I think to touch on one of the people that are commenting these points is one of the reasons I don't like Abraham Mansour this week is because the length of the golf course. I mean, this is a big boy golf course. I believe the slope is, let me see. I mean, you're talking about a hard golf course. Yeah, 77.6 course rating, 155 slope. That's a big boy golf course. That's hard. That is up in the Kiowa Island as far as course rating and slope. This you're going to be able to have to move the ball this week. I like Jason Kokrak. The guy that I'm going to fade in this category is Robert McIntyre, which many people might not know who that is. He's a lefty. He's a Euro. Has a lot of game.
A lot of people are talking about him. They're hyping him up.
Yeah, I'm going to stop those hypes, and I'm going to fade Rob McIntyre. Listen, he's a solid player. Again, he does not play a lot in the States. That's going to be my fade this week. But, however, I do feel good. Jason Kokrak's a guy I feel like is going to make some noise this week. Sitting there at super value at 7,100.
Yeah, it's funny that I was actually a little surprised to see, and I'm just going to throw this out there. I think Guru faded Kokrak because Kokrak let him down last week because he had him as an outright long shot, and I was pulling for you on that, but I will go to the well as well. I'm with the pro. I'm going Kokrak. Is one of my plays in that 7K range at 7.1. I mean, good grief. You saw he's playing great in my model. I hate to say it, my model, but the thing I pulled up, gosh, he was right there in ninth. He was in the top 10 for me, and so I'm probably way wrong here, but I'm looking at 15th off the tee, 27th. On approach, 5th in putting. You had it 6th in putting. I had him at 5th. 24th in birdie or better. Top 6 in greens and regulation. And he's a good driver. He can drive the ball far. He's top 10. And so all those factors that I like for this course, he's definitely a play for me at damn near in the 6K range at 7.1. And then I'm falling into that same echo, Palmer and English. And we beat those two guys to death. I mean, they're just the biggest no-brainers. So I've got Kokrak, Palmer, English, and my 7K fade is also Matt Wolff. Matt Wolff is a train wreck. He's a disaster. His trend is going down, down, down. And until I see – remember we talked about this with Rory last week. Until I see those signs of life and I see that that spark. I mean, he's got nothing. Remember, he came out with the most fanfare of all of them, and he won the first tournament between Morikawa, him, and Hovland, all those guys that came out, and now he's just like, oh my goodness. And so I'm fading him, and I think his number is going to continue to go down. Now watch him come out there and surprise us, but you know, I mean, gosh, he's in bad form. He's 46th in this field in putting on Bermuda. And a guy that's already not playing well, and he's terrible on Bermuda. There's no way I'm playing that guy, even at 7. And he's at 7.6. He's higher than all the other guys I mentioned that we're all playing. And so that makes no sense to me. So I'm really excited about fading that guy. All right.
have this rule of thumb. If you like Bryson, you play Wolf. That's the only reason I didn't fade him.
Fair
That's
enough.
it.
Okay.
That's the fact. That's it.
If you like Bryson, fade Wolf.
No. If you like Bryson, you have to play Wolf. That's why I can't fade him. Otherwise, I'd have faded him too.
I hear you, man. I get you. Let's see. Wolf said beginning of the season he wished the break would have been longer. That's an interesting thought to me. Yeah, that's interesting. What do you guys think of something like that?
I don't expect Matt Wolff to play bad golf much longer at all. Matt Wolff is a damn good talent. He's going to get it back sooner rather than later.
I hope so. I agree.
All it takes is one swing thought. It's literally that damn simple. When you get to the level like those guys, it's literally putting the ball a quarter inch back in your stance. It's one swing thought away. Matt Wolff has legitimate talent. I do not expect him to be slumping much, but no, I get the fade and I get all of that, but I don't expect, this guy's going to win multiple tournaments to the 10, 12, 14 tournaments. I think he's got that talent.
I agree with you. As crazy as that swing is, he's amazing.
Yep.
And so I just want to see that spark. Until then, I'm not going to pay a 7.6 when there's guys like Palmer at 7.2 and Kokrak at 7.1. And that's my only reason I'm fading him is he's just too expensive for what he's putting out. I can't wait for him to get back. I think when he gets back and with Spieth and all these other guys out there, golf has got a really bright future right now. And I'm really excited about where it's going. Okay, let's throw out a few quick value plays in the 6K range. All right, we're going to throw a few value plays out there, and then we're going to talk about the optimal lineup. Take a pause, and then we're going to go and talk Puerto Rico. And so, anyway, Nick, let's go, Guru. 6K. What do you got? A few value plays for me.
So, what's the rule of thumb when Lanto's under 7K? Must play. Yeah,
that's what I've been hearing for like 49 years, man.
So yeah, I mean, he's in there. I mean, he's 11th in driving distance, last 24. He's 16th as far as the TIF Eagle goes. I mean, he's got just, if you look back at his DraftKings run for the last year, I mean, he's one of the few 6K guys that's got serious top 20 upside. I mean, he's going to score, and that's what you need him to do. It's the name of the game in a no-cut weekend. So, I mean, I think that's some chalk you got to eat, or at least consider eating.
That's exactly right. He's chalk, but you got to eat it.
Where can we go next? Brendan Todd. He's another one that is seriously underpriced.
That's my guy. That's my guy right there.
I mean, yes, he's 69th off the tee the last 24, but he's first around the green and 5th in putting. And then when you look at the TIF Eagle the way I did, he was second in the field, only behind English. So I don't need him to outdrive Bryson. I just need to keep the ball in play and just keep scoring and putting. I don't care if they're 30 footers, just make the damn putt. And I think he's 6,400.
64.
Yeah.
Damn near minimum wage.
Yeah. I mean, mix in English, mix in Todd, mix in Lanto, mix in Palmer, and then do what you want at the top. But the bottom seems pretty cut and dry to me. But just to get somebody a little different in the mix, since I really believe in the putting aspect of this, I'm going to go Lee Westwood. Last 24 is 15th off the tee, 60th in approach, 48th around the green, and 22nd in putting. He's 11th on my TIF Eagle stats, 20th in the comps, and 11th on the Nicklaus stats too. So I think he's got some, again, if he has a good week with everything else and just, get it on the greens and get it close, I think he'll be okay.
Nice.
So yeah, those are three I really like.
Westwood's one of those guys that everybody likes to cheer for. I know that our UK guy is going to be all over Westwood. And so, hey, there you go. Cheers, Joe. And so that's a good play. We'll tell him that we actually put a token Brit in the must play section in the value. Of course, we'll tell him it was in the value section. Of course, you also played Rose too. So, yeah, Joe will be a fan of yours. Any value plays for you, Justin, this week?
Well, I had Brandon Todd written down as well. Brendan Todd.
Yep.
I just think for a lot of reasons he mentioned, along with he's really good out of the sand. And you see this course, big sweeping bunkers up around the green. I think something like that might make a little difference for a guy like Brendan Todd. Like you said, at 6,400, sign me up.
It's a good price. No, the comment he's too short for this course. Yeah, it's definitely a long course for him, but what he can do around those greens and on the green could make up for that. At the price point, he's worth a flyer. Yeah.
And then and Answer was my other guy in the 6K range. I mean, just to see him, which I've heard, he is short, but he's fourth in driving accuracy. And he's going to be hitting from good spots, and he's an excellent iron player. So 68, he's 80-1. He plays excellent in these events. He's kind of like a Fleetwood in these big events. He always plays really well, and he's a gamer. So I'll roll with Todd and Answer as my 6K guys. Didn't really have a 6K guy to fade. I think
we don't fade 6K guys.
Yeah, when you're floating around down there,
there's only a couple we play.
Yeah,
we're fading most of them.
So,
all right, well, cool. Pro, you got some fades. You got a couple value plays that haven't been talked about.
Brendan Todd. I'm gonna go on that one. I'm going with Kevin Na. Okay. Kevin Na has taken some time off, hasn't played recently. I know it's kind of like an out of left field play. I do like Kevin Na as a value pick. The other person is Lanto Griffin, which I think at his number is great. And of course I have a fade, but I'm not going to fade somebody at $6,000. Poor Cameron Champ's game's just not there. God bless him. Hates the ball country mile, can't find the damn thing. So hopefully he gets it back soon. but right now, I say things aren't great for Cameron Champ.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm going to echo a little bit. We're going to go right to the optimal. I've got Griffin, I've got Answer, and I've got Todd. I like all three of those guys for the same reasons we just talked about. We're not going to go crazy here. Colts fan, thanks Guru for keeping my Detry hidden. Let's just take that. Right, you post it. We're going to talk about it, man. Talk about Detry.
So he was in the same tourney as Bryson, the collegiate tourney, and I think he finished third. So he's one of the few people that have a little potential course history, experience, knowledge, whatever you want to call it. And he's got the little hidden flair going because he's Euro, but I think he went to school at Illinois, so depends how much digging you do.
Yeah.
Well,
he's a good player. I mean, he's played well over on the Euro Tour. It's been kind of up and down a little bit, which he of course he favors. Some courses he favors, some courses he does. But clearly he has a background, like you said, he was a Fighting Illini player, so he has a little American soil, knowledge. But he's been mostly over in Europe. But definitely a sneaky player.
Yep, I agree with that. Okay, guys, we've beat this up pretty good. I think we made some really good plays, some good fades. Al Falcon Day says Champ is hurt. He believes that could be the case.
You did WD last week.
I know this swing is killing me. So anyway, let's jump into the optimal lineup. And you want to talk a little bit about how you get to the optimal lineup, and I'm going to go ahead and post it.
Okay.
And there we go. Let's talk to the kids about this.
It's funny how it all worked out. Started sizing up some of the plays, and they just kind of fell into place with what the model wanted to do. So it's a good reference point. But, we talked about the value being there. So we really thought the value was in the 7K range. So you've got, English and Palmer, which is great. You've got Griffin 2, which allows you to go a little more top heavy. And, Rom was number one in the model. And just to make everything fit, you could go DJ if you wanted to, and drop down off of the sixth wheel here in Sergio. But based on the points we put in the model, it made the most sense to go Rahm and Cantlay, and then load up with the value plays in English, Palmer, and Griffin, and then the highest person left with the most amount of money was Sergio. Now, if you believe if you don't really care about the 50 grand thing, you don't mind somebody duping you, then go with it. But Sergio's 75, so if you didn't like. If you worried about the dupe, then you just go down to the highest ranked guy at 74, and that would be your optimal choice. But just spitting it out exactly how we gave it to you, this is the lineup we suggest you play. And we've given a lot of reasons why we like the guys.
A lot of people are scared of that, and but we're looking at 527.1 points. Last week's optimal lineup was actually right under 600 points. And it's just interesting how big of a difference we have in our projected points versus last week's points. But when we get to the Puerto Rico, we're going to see a lot higher points. And so, but it's just real interesting how that works out. But yeah.
You can't go wrong. Like I said, I think the play is really to find the value guys and kind of sprinkle around the top, just because they all have pretty decent win equity at the top, and go from there. And sprinkle in the sixes, but I really think you could do a pretty good lineup just hanging out in the low sevens and picking the guys in the 9 and 10K range that you like, and just make it work. However, the DraftKings salary math is going to do it for you.
Yeah, I scored 556 and had it in a $1 double up. Yeah, that's the way it goes, bro. that's the way it goes, man. You got to slap one of those sometimes right into that $10 or that $15 play. All right, so any final thoughts on WGC, boys?
Well, I think just like you were saying, with the value plays, it leaves it open for you to get any of these top guys. And just kind of mix and match, and all the top guys they're going to be there. It's which of the next guys are you going to get that's going to make the difference for you.
Exactly, I agree, and so I can't wait for this tournament. I can't wait to be watching two tournaments at the same time, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And this WGC is, we thought we had it fun last week with the Riviera. With this field, I just can't wait, and I can't wait to see Brooks
Tony Finau
go out there and show. Because honestly, I can make an argument that Brooks is still the best player in the world, and he's getting himself back into shape. He dropped the mic a couple of weeks ago. He looked pretty good last week. He's the best putter in Bermuda. I'm going to close it out with on the WGC with Brooks is going to be in a lot of my lineup.
Did you get all that? If not, make sure you head over to hammercast.com, subscribe, and join the Hammer Nation. Until next time, keep grinding.